Hello everyone, it is day 7 of my trip to the UK, and today I am in Southport staying with the Worgan family, and November 1st was a special day for Doctor Who fans because the Whoniverse came to BBC Iplayer. Now that's not something that I have access to in the US, so it was so special to be in the UK when this debuted. It was so special to be able to see the Tales of the TARDIS episodes, which I wouldn't have been able to watch that day if I'd been in the US. It was so cool. They are all so wonderful, so sweet, so special. And yes, to address the Dalek in the room, that is a full-size Dalek that Mark built himself. How cool is that? Mark couldn't join us today, but Yvonne and Hannah drove me from Southport all the way to Blackpool. When we arrived in Blackpool, it was indeed right by the seaside and very, very windy. The first place that we wanted to go to was called Thunder Books, but unfortunately when we arrived, we saw that it had closed. You could still see the old signs from where it had been, so that was disappointing, but it wasn't the only place we were planning to visit that day. Next, we went to Cully's World, which is a DVD store that has so many DVDs inside. We were certain it had to have a Doctor Who section, and indeed it did. Mostly new series DVDs and some spin-offs. The prices were more expensive than I would have liked them to be, and as a result I didn't get anything while I was there. Parts of Blackpool have definitely seen better days, but other parts had this beautiful artwork of a wizard and some lizards. We also passed by the Potter Inn. Unfortunately it wasn't open, but that seemed like such a lovely idea for a cafe. We then went to Number 1 Collectibles, where immediately I spotted a Doctor Who biscuit jar, or cookie jar as we might call it in the US. There were also some Micro-Universe figures. They had these aisles lined with all sorts of collectibles, and we found the Doctor Who part of the aisle, which had Micro-Universe figures, vinyl figures, some Doctor Who keychains, a Doctor Who doormat, some Torchwood action figures, a Micro-Universe spaceship set, an Amy Pond action figure, an Into the Dalek time zone and figure collection, a Dalek bottle opener, this framed 11th Doctor photo, really cool, looked like some sort of limited edition, some Star Wars action figures, a lot of Pop Funkos, a ton of comics, just rows and rows of collectible items, among which I spotted a 13th Doctor Pop Funko figure, number 899. There was a Decide Your Destiny Claws of the Macro book and the Darksmith The Legacy The Color of Darkness. Quite a few Lord of the Rings action figures, and a Doctor Who pin set, one with a Dalek, one with a TARDIS, one with the 4th Doctor, and one with the 5th Doctor in a comic style. And I liked those, so I had to get them, and they were pretty cheap too. There were some Doctor Who Adventures magazines, a 10th Doctor and Martha Jones mug. After we were done there, we went to Brooks Collectibles, which had an incredible display that you could look at from the street, and it had a small ceramic TARDIS and TARDIS mug. There was also the Dalek Invasion bauble vinyl figures, some cool Star Wars statues, and some early Doctor Who action figures still in the box too. This place had so many action figures, some Doctor Who Eaglemoss figurines, Daleks and Sycorax, a Silent, and the entrance to a part of the store had a photographic background that someone went to a lot of work to install that had the Matt Smith Series 5 TARDIS as this wallpaper. It was so cool. There was a full-size Stormtrooper and Darth Vader, and this really cool display case that had Eaglemoss figurines, some annuals, some Doctor Who mugs, a tea kettle, a Doctor Who TARDIS purse, some pins, a 150-pound set of 3 Torchwood action figures with exclusive artwork, and one signed by Eve Miles. There was a 1974 annual and some Marvel Adventure comics for Doctor Who, the 6th Doctor and Perry Brown Eaglemoss figurine set, the 2006 annual, a Dalek Mania book, 1970s annuals, TARDIS mugs, and upstairs, as you go up a level, there's a Dalek facing you right there, some Doctor Who cutouts on the wall, and a Dalek gold. It was a model that they built and have on display, and it says, "Please do not touch the Dalek. It makes him cranky. This Dalek had definitely seen better days, as had the TARDIS, but it was so cool that these have had such a long life on display in this store, which had tons of action figures and collectibles. Upstairs had a display case that had a bunch of really cool vintage Doctor Who collectibles that I would have loved to have gotten some of these, but unfortunately they were only on display. There were some remote control, K9s and Daleks, some Doctor Who books and cards. Oh my gosh, it was really cool. There was a 30th anniversary Doctor Who pin, which I wanted to get really badly, but again, it was only on display. We then went to the seaside in Blackpool, which was really, really cool. It was very, very windy. There were gulls flying overhead. The sky was beautiful. Waves crashing against the shore. It was amazing. I tried to record audio here, but it was just too windy. Hello everyone, I'm out here in Blackpool, joined by some friendly seagulls and a beautiful view of the ocean. After passing by some friendly gulls as well as pigeons who were clearly used to having humans around, there was even a horse-drawn carriage trotting down the road. That was incredible. And of course we had to stop and get some ice cream sundaes from Notarianni. I mean, they made beautiful, beautiful ice cream sundaes, and this was the Reese's flavor. I mean, come on, just look at that. That is incredible. And they were so tasty. And look at this view. I mean, this part of Blackpool was just so beautiful. We went to the Regent. It was full of antiques and collectibles. And right up front, there were some Doctor Who action figures on display. Some Doctor Who bubble bath. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. There were even some Doctor Who ornaments. And I spotted a Doctor Who DVD for the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe for £2. So how could I resist? There were just piles of stuff and clothes and books. Outside there was a bit of a rainbow. It was just beautiful. And I got for £5 this Doctor Who keychain, which I thought was really cool. And then we left Blackpool and went back to the Worgans home in Southport, where we got to see for the first time the Whoniverse ident on BBC4, and we got to watch the Talking Doctor Who special as it aired. Not only that, but I also got to see a Doctor Who ident with David Tennant as the 14th Doctor. Oh my gosh, that was so special. Plus, we watched on BBC4 the Doctor Who at 60, a musical celebration. So much beautiful music, so well presented. Murray Gold speaking as well as Russell T Davies. It was spectacular. The Worgans dog Lucy fell asleep on my knee throughout the whole show. It was adorable. And in case you weren't convinced yet that Mark is an incredibly big Doctor Who fan, he's built an Ultimate Weapons Dalek, and it was so cool to look at, though he's done such an incredible job building this model Dalek. And then it was off to bed to rest up, because tomorrow we would be going to see the Blackpool illuminations at night, which included a lit up TARDIS and Daleks.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Doctor Who Guide YouTube channel. You know it makes sense.